my car's really not going to like having the air conditioning on and idling and then speeding up and slowing down, so I'll have to keep my eye on the temperature gauge again. I only turn the aircon on when I'm filming. It's like so ridiculous, so risky, like to have aircon that, or have, it shouldn't be a problem. It was a problem up in Northern Territory because you're like driving on the surface of the sun, so your cooling system for your car, it's like trying to cool down a hot cup of coffee with a hairdryer on high. Like it's not taking any heat away, it's probably heating it up, like especially in the afternoons, and the road gets so hot that your tires expand and shit. So many risks. But yeah, back down here it's actually pretty cool. Like I'm in the middle of the day down here, I feel fine, like I'm like relaxing, like it's nice and cool. Which is awesome. It's like I've conditioned myself perfectly for the coming summer, and I'm just going to be so chill, pun intended, while everybody else is sweating their asses off. So yeah, I'm heading to Hervey Bay as the next big plot point, and I'm pretty much just trying to keep myself occupied, find as many places as possible between here and there. And then after Hervey Bay, it'll be Brisbane, which is just down the road really, in relative to the journey that I've just been on. And then it'll be Cabarita in northern New South Wales. And then it'll be Yamba Iluka. That's 2 places. They're like either side of the river, down in Clarence Valley. That's like for the whole family thing over Chrissy and New Year's. And then I'll probably head back up to Cabarita, and I'll probably perch somewhere in that area for about 4 months and just work like I've never worked before and get cashed up. And then once I am cashed up, I will embark on the next part of this quest, which should be actually the final episode, like the final of this storyline. Like it'll be the end of my big quest, and then after that it'll be something brand new, and who knows what that will be. It's weird seeing the end of your quest on the horizon. Like to me, this quest, like even though I haven't been traveling in the ute and that, but like the quest of like getting solid and finding out who I am, learning about all these metaphysical things and mental health and well-being in general, spirituality, like all the stuff, like just wrapping all that up. It's gonna be intense. I won't know what to do with myself when like I'm finished. I do know what to do with myself though. I'll finally be able to stop freaking out that I'm not enough and that like I'm not doing enough and all that, because finishing the quest looks like financial security and like security in general, just figuring my life out, having everything set up right, being solid, like I said, in all ways, spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially, all of it. That's what I'm heading towards. And yes, I do believe that doing laps of the entire country and meeting as many people as possible and having as many like peak experiences and challenging experiences as possible is going to get me there. Like that's my plan. I definitely don't think, my thing, I posted it on Instagram. I posted like the Google dictionary definition of like nothing ventured, nothing gained. It's like what do you call that? A proverb? And it basically means if you don't risk anything, or you can't expect any real results. Like you got to take risks to get results. That's been like my philosophy about everything for ages. I feel like I've just been like, I'll do a poker analogy, right? I'm not a gambler, but when you're playing poker and people like raise the the amount and you've got to call, like to stay in the game. I feel like I've just been calling every single hand, and like I'm down to my last few chips, and it's like I've got pretty good cards, but if I'm like nearly all in a way, which is silly as a metaphor really, because we're infinite and you can go all in as many times as you want and you're always going to find more value inside yourself. But that analogy's still fun. It does feel like I've just been calling every single hand, like I've gambled on every single huge risk, like I've taken every opportunity, I've said yes to everything. Like it's probably not the best way to do it. You should probably be a bit more selective with your choice making. I think the truck in front of me just stalled. Probably having similar problems with the heat and the aircon and that. No vehicles like roadworks. Roadworks is just generally bad for your vehicle. Like peak hour traffic. Remember peak hour traffic, Kai? Talking to myself. I used to drive like 2 hours to work and like 2.5 hours home from work. I did that for ages, saving up like enough money so that I could like take a leap. And it's funny because I ended up like blowing half of that money on shit that didn't get me anywhere. Like you don't need to have a bunch of money saved up to do the thing you want to do, because like it's more an emotional thing that's stopping you, or a mental thing. Like you can't, the thing you want to do is like right there all the time. Like you can always move towards it. You can always do something that brings you closer to alignment with your dream. But we give ourselves these like bullshit ideas. Like if I save up $10,000 and quit my job, then I'll be able to just focus on that. But then you spend like that period of time that you got blowing through that $10,000 just fighting with your insecurities and feeling like you're not good enough. Whereas you probably would have felt more secure if you stayed in your job and just slowly chipped away at your goals and like just made stuff, which is what I used to do. But I don't know, I can't say either way, because burning the bridges and burning the boats, or whatever you want to call it, like just making it so that you can't turn back, definitely works. It definitely puts you in a position where you're much more likely to follow through with things. Because it's like, what are you going to do? Like for me, it was like I could have easily gone back to my job when I ran out of money, but everybody would have given me shit. And I guess that wouldn't even have been so bad. I totally could have done that, but I just kept trying to figure out, like I did things that I wouldn't have done. Like I worked for strange clients and I did weird cash jobs, and yeah, and I just did like way more than I would have done if I if I stayed in the security, like it's funny, like one of my okay, it's funny, like it's funny because the thing that's in my awareness right now is funny because the person who told me this wisdom is one of my least favorite people. But he calls it the golden handcuffs. When you find yourself in a situation with so much security and abundance, like you have everything you need, so you don't strive, like you don't try anymore. You're so comfortable and you're so content that you don't have any desire to improve yourself or take anything to the next level. And I feel like a lot of us get in that position. Although I don't think we have golden handcuffs. Like I think our handcuffs are pretty shitty, but we still find ourselves complacent and content in our like, it's just familiarity, and it's not even security, because a lot of our jobs and shit and the way that we set ourselves up, it isn't really that secure. Like it's, you know that you've got work from Monday to Friday, but you're still living week to week. Like you're not saving for the future. You're definitely not getting a deposit down on a house or having money left over for investments. Like especially in our early 20s, and like when we're young and we don't have any marketable skills or real value yet, like, and we don't have any life experience, like we're not exactly yeah, we're not in a position where we actually have real security. So it's not even security, it's an illusion of security. Like if I had stayed at that job and not like gone and started studying and traveling and meeting new people, connecting to communities and like upskilling and increasing my value to society, I would have probably become less and less secure over time. And you become one of those old fellas who they kind of keep on at the job because they know if they fire that guy, he's fucked. Like there's nothing else he can do in the world except sit in the office and supervise that particular thing, because that's what he's been doing for the last 40 years. That was my greatest fear, becoming that guy. Like I want to live a full life. I want to have rich experiences, peak experiences. I want freedom. I want to see what this world's got. And I'm grateful to be able to do that. I'm grateful to even be aware that there's more to life. Like, because a lot of people are just like I grew up in a community where no one really gets out. Like, it's normal just to like have kids really young, get a shitty job, minimum wage in town. If that, usually most people probably on Centrelink. Like it's just a dead end town, and like people just never leave. They don't leave one time. They don't experience anything outside of that bubble, and it's like that's all they've ever known. No judgment, like, but yeah, like I sort of had my eyes opened because I've seen all different ways to live. Like that's why traveling is so good, especially going to like other cultures and stuff. Go overseas, have that experience of being the fish out of water, and then realize that you can still thrive and survive in that environment. Yeah, life, eh? I don't know where I'm going, eh? Like, I feel like the coast is really far away from the highway, but I still want to go and just go to the beach again for this afternoon. But then I got to drive all the way. I just don't care. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do what I want to do from now until I get home, because I've behaved myself and I've followed my own rules so well, and I'll continue to, but I'm going to give myself a little bit of wiggle room, and I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the journey. We're on the home stretch. May as well like just do everything that is nice and good and fun. So I think, yeah, I might end up back in Agnes Waters or 1770 at this point. I just found out Mary Rodwell lives out there. I found out from the UFO guy, obviously. If you know who Mary Rodwell is, she's really prominent in the UFO contact community. That community is so interesting to me. Anything metaphysical is interesting to me. Anything beyond the norm, I just want to explore all of it without getting like sucked into any particular thing. I'll check back in, because when I'm driving, my mind flows like really freely, and I feel like I'm just like whoop 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 whoop. So if this is a fun journal, click the like button for me, leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again very shortly.